Good morning. Thank you for joining us for a brand new week. We are in the final week of March, and we are looking forward to all that's in store this week and for the new month to come. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope whatever you did, you were safe, you spent it with good company, and that you were able to rest most of all, and you're ready and raring to go for this new week ahead. Thank you for choosing us to spend it with. We appreciate you so much. On today's show, we are going to be talking about the Junior Calypso Monarch and what's happening with that, with those changes and all of the information coming out of Tuco for that over the weekend. So we want to talk about that. We're also going to be speaking to Caribbean Airlines about the air bridge. We have good news. That's an event that you don't want to miss. So hold on for that interview. And we're going to be talking about coding, the future of education, something that is interesting, something that is forward-thinking for our children to get involved in, to better the next generation. So stick around for that interview. And we will also be talking to a group of young persons who have created a virtual space, a safe space for youth to talk about mental health issues and other issues surrounding their well-being. We have so much in store for you this morning. Please stay with us. Before we go to our break and into our first interview, we have our daily inspiration. And we start off this morning with our daily inspiration, planted, not buried. We're not talking about agriculture, we're talking about ourselves, our lives. Sometimes we may find ourselves in a particular season or space where we feel buried. We feel that opportunities are passing us by. We feel that we're not being seen, that we're being overlooked. But sometimes that buried feeling is really us being planted, us being given an opportunity to develop some character, develop some things, work on some things in the meantime. Because when those doors open, when those opportunities come, we'll be better equipped to deal with them. That buried period may feel like a big challenge. It may feel depressing. You're seeing all these people doing amazing things around you and wondering, when am I going to be next? When is it going to be my time? But hold on, don't worry. It is going to be your time really soon. In those moments where we're able to develop character, we learn about patience, we learn about being happy for others. They always talk about clapping for others. Those are those moments when you clap for others. Those are those moments when you celebrate the good news for others because you're looking forward to when it's going to be you. You're able to deal with things. I always remember my mom telling me and my sisters about, being able to be in the place to receive the blessings that you have to get. So that buried period is that period where you're going to learn to be able to receive the blessings and appreciate the blessings in the moments when they come. So we're not buried, we are just planted, because in time we will bloom. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have our first interview. Stay with us.
Mental health can explain the behavior of bullies, but also the impact of those who are bullied.
And you have those individuals who some children have what you call conduct disorders. And a conduct disorder, some of them are like to light fires, kill pets, and all these things. Now, those children could go on into adulthood and be somebody with a personality disorder, is what we call a psychopath or antisocial personality disorder.
Do they pick on or target a specific personality, their victim, or is it across the board?
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios. But they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries while stocks last and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through. Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered.
The conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN Content Capital.
We thank you for staying with us. As we said earlier, coming up on the program, we're going to be talking about coding, the future of education. We're also going to be talking about the Junior Calypso Monarch and what we see happening there with the disqualification of 2 of the contestants who would have placed, during their competition that happened in Carnival this year. We want to talk about, how something like this could have happened, how this could be prevented in the future, and what's to come right now, what is to be expected of those persons who were disqualified and then the persons who would have now placed because of the disqualification. So you really want to get into that. Also talking today about a virtual space that youth have created for youth to really spend time discussing issues that affect their well-being, their mental health. We have so much in store for you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we begin today's program.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries, white stocks last, and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch ultra-slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces flagship Mac Bean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Thank you for staying with us. We had a bit of a delay there, but we're back on track and we have our first interview. Joining us to discuss the Junior Calypso Monarch and all the issues that are coming out of this and to figure out a way forward is Calypso Knight, and he is our National Freestyle Champion 2023. Calypso Knight, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dominic. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not bad at all.
All right. Okay, so we've seen the news, we've seen the reports of what's taking place with the with the Junior Calypso Monarch, sorry. Tell us, I mean, you are someone who has been in the industry for some time, who has been a calypsonian, who's been writing, performing, taking part in competitions. Is this something like this normal? Does something like this usually happen? Is this strange?
Well, I wouldn't say it's strange. I mean, for the past 20 years, I've seen, over the last 20 years that I've been an active entertainer, I've seen, instances where this conversation came up.
Okay.
Right? I think this is actually the first time I could recall an actual disqualification coming out of it.
Right.
Right? But the whole concept and construct of not performing the musical piece before, let's say after Ash Wednesday, the previous year.
Right.
Right? Or that has always been a known function.
So this is known.
Right?
This is not a new rule that has now been included.
No, that has always been there.
Okay.
So let's say this is 2023.
Mm-hmm.
The work should not be performed before Ash Wednesday 2022.
Okay.
So this so it's not a new rule. It has always been there. It has always been enforced. And as competing entertainers, we all have been aware of it.
Right.
This situation, though, for me is very unfortunate for a number of reasons. Now, I don't have all the details in terms of when exactly the work was performed and how it was performed, because I think there's a bit of a gray area there with what actually constitutes a performance.
Okay.
Right, of the work. So it could be, there are times when, let's say, somebody would write a song and they might perform it live somewhere. That may not be, a commercial production and performance of the song.
Right, okay.
You might perform it live, or you might give a two-verse, right? So there is a little gray area there. And I mean, with this situation here, given how the juniors are normally prepared, there's another bit of, I would say, gray area of concern, right? Then this would be the question of, okay, did we actually have a carnival last year and year before?
Okay.
Right? Or would this now be part of, how would that rule be interpreted?
Right.
Now,
Given
as I
the
said,
special period of COVID and all of that, the pandemic that we went through.
Yes.
Right.
Right. So we have that consideration, but I wouldn't discredit the ruling that was handed down.
Right.
Right. It's just unfortunate that the young people have to go through that after having gone through the excitement of winning. Right. As I said, they didn't broadcast when exactly the infraction took place or how the infraction took place. Right. It could be that the young man probably performed it at an audition, and that was before the period that they would have said. Could be that he recorded the song and published it, but didn't compete with it.
Okay.
I don't know. Right, but these are the little gray areas, and I don't think that the organization would make a willy-nilly decision, right, based on this, right, based on the facts and the evidence. I'm pretty sure that they would have come to that conclusion.
Right. Yeah, let's take it back a little bit, because we're seeing not just the disqualification of one person, but we're seeing of two, the winner and then the person who would have placed third. Now, I mean, we're talking about the persons who were disqualified, but we also have to take into account the persons who would have placed, would not have won, and then now because of the disqualification is now the winner, is now the second place, winner. It's a lot of changes, a lot of emotions into play. I mean, you can talk from the place of an adult, how that would have emotionally affected you on either end of the coin. But these children having to go through this, how do they navigate this, especially so early in their careers?
Well, I think it is important, not just for the children, but also for the parents as well. Because the children are not acting on their own thing. The TUCO, though, they clearly they put out a handbook every single year.
Okay.
Right, with all of the rules, everything clearly stated. And most of the competing, whether they are adults or at the junior level, most of the competitors get this handout with this booklet.
Right.
With all of the rules clearly stated. So it is important for the parents to be responsible where that is concerned. Right? Maybe they took a chance, maybe they didn't interpret the rules well, for whatever reason. The psychological effect would be the same for an adult as well, because the amount of preparation that would have to go into getting ready for our carnival season, worse yet, the competition side of things.
Yes.
Right? We're talking writers, studio time, costumes, props, and then actually the excitement of the act going through the different stages of the competition from preliminaries to semis into finals, right? The parents of the children who would have been disenfranchised would feel a sense of, gutted, I would say, right? To have lost to somebody that would have, broken or bent the rules, whether intentionally or not.
Oh, yes.
Right? And also they too would now have been robbed of the opportunity to, be celebrated as winner, as a finalist, because I mean, now if two people got put out of the competition, that means there are two people that should have been or could have gotten into the competition.
Yes, correct.
Right? So now that I think it is a learning exercise for all parties, right? I just find that it could have happened a little earlier. Right?
Yeah, because we're talking about the span of a month gone.
Yes, right. Prizes probably already given out, trophies awarded.
Yes.
And I know the winner, he would have performed at the March Gras competition and got to parade on the grand stage on Carnival Sunday night. Right? And of course, that too is an opportunity that another participant would not have enjoyed.
Yes.
Right? But I mean, all of the facts didn't come out, or at least in the press releases that came out. But I think now what it would only strengthen the resolve and strengthen the entire fraternity going forward from the junior to senior level, because they now know that we all now are now aware that we are under the microscope where these things are concerned, and we now have to do our due diligence to ensure that we don't cross those lines.
Yes, and even in moving forward, as you said, do you think, in your opinion, more checks and balances can be done on the side of the organization, in terms of, okay, the songs are vetted properly, so not just vetted in terms of lyrics, but vetted in terms of where has this been performed, a greater look into the background of the competitors. Do you think something like that may assist moving forward?
I've seen that become very difficult because there are a lot of ways that the lines could become blurred.
Right.
Right? We have seen instances where people rehash old melodies. Right? We have a situation where the judges are not aware of the work that would be presented to them, and they judge what is in front of them on any given night.
Right.
Right? So now I think it is a collaborative effort in terms of the parents and participants, because this is not just a juniors issue. The parents and participants doing their part to ensure that they come to the competition in the interest of fairness and equity. Right? We also have to look at, it would be difficult for the organization to do more than they did, right? Because who else or how else would they know where the song would have been performed? If the song was performed in a competition 2 years ago, clearly you can't use it again. It might be easy to track and say, but this song, was performed before. Now, what constitutes a performance? That is where the whole issue is. And I think we need a little more clarity there, right? Because oftentimes somebody might, let's say, as I said before, they might perform a song somewhere, right? And is it that the person went to an audition with the song and, he didn't get through at the audition stage? So this means probably didn't even make it into the preliminaries of the competition, right? Or it was a song, because we had a number of other issues as well and other disqualifications around the Caribbean with people using work that was performed somewhere else as well, not by the performers on the day. That's the next thing. So these are the things that we have to look at, right? Just in case, because it could be a case where the song was performed by another performer at some other point in time, and this is an issue between the writer and the performer.
Performers, correct.
Yes.
Before we wrap, we appreciate that you joined us this morning to discuss this and to give us the sides of this. What advice would you give to both parties, persons who have been disqualified, because these are talented young people, regardless of this situation,
Yes.
And we don't want this to be the spoke in their wheel. So what advice would you give to them who would have been disqualified, and then to the ones now who have moved up because of the disqualification?
I think it was McDonald who won, right? He is an awesome performer and an awesome talent for the Calypso fraternity, and it is unfortunate that he and his family has to go through this right now, right? And for all the other people that would have, come up as a result of the disqualification, they all perform together and have been performing together for years. Right, already in the little time there.
Yes.
And I would like to continue seeing them do well. The basis of the disqualification, where the infractions came, whether they performed the song before, or it was an issue where a writer gave them an old song that was performed before. We all now have to just do our due diligence, and as emotionally, disheartening as it might be, we have to take it on the chin, right, and just come back better next year. Because for all of the juniors, we have seen progressive development in the way that they perform the craft. They are very good at this age in terms of the delivery, the music, and they are the ones that are going to be carrying the culture forward.
Yes.
And it is good that the organization would have taken the stance and, dealt with it this way. This would only firm up the resolve and maintain and retain the integrity and the value of the competition and the Calypso space on a whole.
Right.
So, they just have to take this one, learn from it, all parties, right, and let us continue putting out a good product for the culture.
Yes. Thank you so much, Calypso Night, for joining us. We appreciate you. Have a great
Nice.
day. We take a short break. When we come back, we have lots more in store. Stay with us.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the Fire 7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order, or visit us in-store at Forces flagship Mac Bean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
The issue, the continued rise in the price of flour and its impact on the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. How should we go about it? I want to ask you, what has been revealed to you about the state of vulnerability in the country because of this exercise and because of what we're going through? Is the government losing the war on the vaccine front?
The discussion should revolve around the common good for the greatest number of people in Trinidad and Tobago.
How do we inculcate a sense of respect and regard for people who may not be of your own political ilk or persuasion?
The communities are now being used by political opportunists. So
when the tables are turned, it's the same way. Okay, this has been 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for staying with us. For our next conversation, we're speaking to Cal. And on the line, via Zoom, we have Dion Lagore, who is the head of corporate communications for Caribbean Airlines Limited. Thank you, Dion, for joining us.
Hello, good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Yes.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So we're talking about the Caribbean Airlines Air Bridge, all that we need to know and all that's happening surrounding this. Now, we know that data was recently released, showing the amount of flights and seats and so on. Tell us about that data and analyzing that data, what it tells us.
Well, firstly, of course, Caribbean Airlines, we are very meticulous in the context of how the air bridge is managed.
Right.
So we very carefully manage the operations of the air bridge, just as we manage the operations of our regional and international services. The air bridge, of course, is characterized by movement. On some particular days, you would have flat movement, and on other days, you have an increase in movement.
Right.
And it's typically directional in nature. So, for example, you would find in the latest bit of information that was released, you would see that there was, of course, as is the trend, there is excess capacity on the air bridge, and this happens because, of course, as I mentioned, on some days you have heavy movement, and on other days the movement is not as rapid or not as broad.
Right, understood. With the recent increases in fares and so on, have you seen a decline? What have you seen as a result of that? Has there been any change at all?
In the movement?
Yes.
Not particularly. Okay. The air bridge is still, in terms of costing, it is still quite affordable for most persons and convenient. And of course, we have assistance for the public from the government on this particular route, as there is assistance, for example, for the sea bridge.
Right. Now, in terms of those low periods, because I know you talked about the low periods, you talked about the peaks as well, based on analyzing the data. In those low periods, the airline takes a hit. How does that affect the airline and operations when there are those periods where there may not be, seats filled to capacity and so on, but it's still functioning?
It still functions because the air bridge is, of course, movement between the islands, between Trinidad and Tobago. So one we continue to operate. As I mentioned, the movement is to facilitate persons conducting business in Tobago, conducting business in Trinidad, and so on, so that we continue to closely manage that, and we move the persons. We move persons.
All right. And explain to us what the heat map is and, the importance of that to CAL.
A heat map really deals with high activity times. So that, for example, once we're aware that an event is taking place, and I'm taking my time to explain this.
Yes.
Once we are aware that an event is taking place, the resources are managed to support the particular activity. So, for example, Easter would be obviously one of those high activity times, and resources would be managed in order to facilitate movement. Now, we must also remember that there are two main ways that one travels between Trinidad and Tobago,
yes,
and that the sea bridge and the air bridge. So that, and at both times, the entities or the companies with responsibility for this movement will have this kind of overarching view of the activities taking place.
Now, we know we have some major events, as you mentioned, coming up. We do have the Jazz Festival, we do have Easter, we have Tobago Carnival coming up later in the year. What would you want the general public, what would CAL want the general public to be mindful of, in moving forward to these periods, in terms of bookings and travel and all of that?
Planning is important. So persons, you plan your activities and explore the options of getting between Trinidad and Tobago. And those options would include, of course, the air bridge and the sea bridge. So that And while traveling in the context of the air bridge, be sure that one arrives to the airport at least 2 hours in advance of your check-in to facilitate smooth and seamless operations, because we do our best to ensure that the on-time performance and the efficiency of the air bridge is, of course, a top priority. So making sure that persons get to and from or move between the islands in a timely manner, in an efficient manner.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Lagoa, for joining us and sharing that information with us. We'll definitely keep checking in as we get closer to those busy periods, Jazz Festival, Easter, Tobago Carnival. We appreciate you and the work that Carl is doing. We take a short break. When we come back, we have lots more in store. Stay with us.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in store at Forces Flagship McBean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Is it politics? What is it? Is it that nobody cares about sports?
The kind of support that sport used to get in the past is no longer here.
The thing is, taking a knee doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're doing nowadays.
Right.
Taking a knee along with other stuff.
Samantha, what are you looking forward to when you return home to Trinidad and Tobago after winning the title?
Thank you very much for speaking it into existence.
Is it no pressure on Nicholas Ball?
It makes me more motivated to work hard and to go out there and rep the white and black.
Why are we sending a team to the Winter Olympics?
There are a number of Trinidadians who are in the diaspora and have grown up in winter sport. It's an opportunity that the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee will not close the door on.
I also believe in the players that we have. Once you can motivate the players, you can get the best out of them.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered.
The conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN, Content Capital.
Mental health can explain the behavior of bullies, but also the impact of those who are bullied.
And you have those individuals who may have, some children have what you call conduct disorders. And a conduct disorder, some of them are like to light fires, kill pets, and all these things. Now, those children could go on into adulthood and be somebody with a personality disorder, is what we call a psychopath or antisocial personality disorder.
Do they pick on or target a specific personality, their victim, or is it across the board?
What's up, Doc? Every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries, white stocks last, and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
Thank you for staying with us. As you saw just now, we are speaking to two special guests who are joining us to tell us about Good News Fest. Joining us via Zoom is Sheldon Yearwood and Merlin Caldero, who are representatives of Restoration. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you both.
Good morning. It's an honor to be with you.
Good morning. So tell us about Good News Fest. What does Good News Fest entail? It is really inspirational name. It's a good name, Good News Fest. So tell us, what does this entail?
Well, Good News Fest came about, as you look at the world around us, you see a lot of bad news. When you look at television, you look at social media, the radio, all you hear is negative, wars, famines, pestilence, COVID-19. So we felt in our heart to go out to the community and bring some good news, come and restore hope back to people, come and put a smile and bring joy back to the families. So that's where Good News Fest comes from.
Understood. So Restoration Sound is now taking part in bringing good news to the community. How is this good news? What does this look like? There are particular events. What are the activities surrounding this this initiative?
Well, yes, when we come to the community, we like to bless the families. So we come there, we have live music, we do games with the children, we do lots of giveaways, we bring toys, televisions, all different kinds of it. We also bless families with groceries, but we also give them a positive and encouraging message so that when the people leave the festival, they leave with hope, they leave with joy, they leave blessed when they come to the festival.
Right. So Sheldon, this is a big undertaking. It's a good undertaking, but we know with everything that we're doing in terms of giving to the communities, it's going to take a lot. So tell us about the support that you would have gotten to really bring this initiative and move it off the ground to begin helping these communities.
Well, first of all, this really epitomizes the concept of one body in Christ. Mm-hmm. And it literally was a coming together of the body of Christ. All the various churches from various corners of Trinidad and Tobago would have come together to really make this a grand event. Now, as you realize, it's called a festival.
Yes.
And in Trinidad and Tobago, in past, we'd have called it a crusade in that context. But we really wanted to have a pivot coming out of COVID-19. And as the Pastor Clara mentioned, it's a celebration. Celebrating life, celebrating God's people, and really coming together. So we had various churches, organizations, some north, south, east, west, coming together. We would have marketed, really well very early last week, giving out thousands. We actually printed 10,000 flyers in the east-west corridor alone.
Okay.
And then we printed 5,000 in Central, 5,000 in South, and there was a motorcade Saturday, and really to let the people know that we are here for you. And restoration is such I want to say, a fitting theme, because with revival, there's restoration unto Christ. And we really want to let people know the goodness of God in this season. So it really was, all pastors I think we spoke to, over the last, let's say, 2-3 weeks, they were on board with this because, as Pastor mentioned, there's so much happening, even right here in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot is happening. People are looking for something more, something with substance. So it wasn't difficult at all rallying that support in terms of getting this off the ground. And it's 3 days, as you saw in the ad.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get into details in terms of the where and when and so on. But just to backtrack a bit and off of what Pastor said, we're in a time where good news is really hard to find. We came out of a pandemic, and I'm saying that cautiously because we're still seeing and dealing with the effects of that pandemic. How have you seen that, affect the families and the communities, and even in the church? How have you seen that affected it, and how are we navigating through that?
We've seen a lot of families have been, like you said, people are still cautious, and a lot of families have been separated through the pandemic. But the church has really been the hope and the light, bringing people together, bringing people back to church, bringing them back to worship, bringing them back together under the blessing and to praise and worship the Lord. So now what we've done in the families, with the families in the churches, now we want to be able to do that outside the four walls of the church. That's where we're reaching out to the local community, to get the community to come back together, to have faith in each other, to know that they're not alone, to help them, remind them that, we have made it through the pandemic. And you said, like you said, being cautious, but we're still here. Yes. And we're going to move forward, and we are not alone. We're together as community. We're in this together, as, you know, as a world community. So that's the idea, bringing the people back and bringing them to remind them that we need to have joy, that we need to have hope in God, that, you know, He has not abandoned us. So that's the way we're bringing and restoring families together.
Right, and I love that, you know, beyond the four walls of the church. So we know it's 3 days. So tell us about that. It means that there are 3 venues, 3 locations. Give us some more details on that and what takes place at these locations.
Sure. Okay, so we have 3 locations. The first one is in Palo Seco. That's on the Thursday. And the Friday, it's in Couva. And then on Saturday, the last leg, it would be in Mokoya, the Mokoya grounds. But I want to make a special mention here that there's a special invitation for our Spanish-speaking community.
Okay.
As you know, a few years back, I would have done interviews with members of the community when they were applying for extension. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing that not one of them gave a story or a testimony of, I just wanted to come to Trinidad. They would have left their homes, left their families, and they came into a land that many of them did not know. And it is about restoration in so many ways. And many of them, of course, they are yearning for something more. And this is the time God is going to test the heart of the church. Because the word of God says that we are going to preach and spread this gospel to all, not some, not a few, to all. It's not about segregation. It's about setting apart in terms of from the evil of this world and bringing all of God's children to know the goodness of who He is. So we are sending a special invitation to the Spanish-speaking community to be part of this event over the next 3 days. You don't want to miss it. So all are welcomed.
Okay, nice. And if there are persons who are viewing this interview right now and they want to contribute, are you open to people contributing to this, and how can they get in contact with you to do so?
Right. So let me give you some contacts at this point in time. As I mentioned, we have in the south, central, and northwest of Trinidad. Right. So in south, you can take these numbers down. I'll read them slowly. Right. We have in south, we have Pastor Kerry Smart. Right. That's 493-8674. That's 493-8674. Pastor Leon Mendoza. That's 790-1716. 790-1716. I believe for central here we have Kurt Brown, 713-2373. That's 713-2373. And in the east or northwest and northwest Trinidad, but this contact is for the location. But this is where the central hub, if you want to call it that, for northwest. Okay. This is in the Tunapuna area. This is 663-8667. That's 663-8667. You can call that number in terms of any information, anything you'd like to do or assist with this regard in terms of the northwest, which will be taking place, of course, in Mokoya. Okay. Yeah?
All right. So I know I asked before if there were persons who wanted to donate, but what about volunteering? Because I know with something like this, you're going to need all hands on deck. So if persons want to volunteer, they can also reach out via those numbers to get in touch with the team, right?
Correct. Yes, okay. They can, because I can speak for the Northwest because that is where I am basically functioning. So there would be a training, as a matter of fact, on Wednesday, the 29th, that's this Wednesday coming here, at 6 p.m. at the Tunapuna Open Bible Church for a training seminar, if you call it that, to prepare us for the event and asking our volunteers to come there. I know South and Central also have some kind of training going on as well this week, so you can contact those numbers of those pastors and leaders to get more information as to where they may be having their training or coming together to prepare for Saturday.
Right.
Prepare for the 3 days, yeah.
For the 3 days, yes. Pastor, I want to find out, this initiative, it's a good one. It's good news, and it's really bringing good news and help to the persons that need it most within the communities. Are there any plans for follow-up from this 3-day initiative?
Yes, absolutely. Everyone that comes to the festivals will be registered for the event, and then after the event, the local pastors and the local churches will be reaching out to people to let them know, look, we're here for you. If you need anything, if you need prayer, you need encouragement, you need a church family, the church is available for you to help you navigate whatever difficulties you may be facing. So we're not just having a one-day event and then forgetting about the community. No, we'll be there. We'll be connecting with people. We'll be even possibly doing some home visits if people would like after the event, just to help restore, revive, and bring hope to them.
Okay, sounds good. And we didn't really talk about this, but what are the items that would be given away? I know groceries was mentioned, but what other items would be given away? And that can give an idea to those persons who want to donate what they can donate.
Well, we wanted to reach everyone, so we have toys for the kids, we have bikes, we have Xboxes, and then for the adults, we also wanted to bless. We have cell phones, we have household items like refrigerator, things that people really need in the community. We have, I believe, stoves that we'll be also able to give away and bless, and lots of toys and stuff for the kids.
Okay, and just remind us before you go, Sheldon, the venues that this will be taking place at, and is there anywhere on social media persons can just go to a page to get more information, on what's taking place?
Well, we have it on several of the, I want to call it the ministry pages, the various pastors and their churches. But let me give you the exact location as it pertains to where it's taking place in. So I'll start with the east because I know they're very close. So in the east, it's actually taking place at the Macoya grounds in Macoya.
And this is what date? Remind us of the dates as well.
Yeah, so that's in the, right, I have it here with me, good. So let's begin on the Thursday, right? So that's the day of the holiday.
Yes.
So this is taking place at number 4 Road Recreation Ground, number 4 Road Recreation Ground in Palo Seco. Right? Okay. This is behind the government primary school for all those in the Southland. That's in Palo Seco, right? And the doors open at 4 p.m., but I believe it's starting at 6 p.m., but they're opening the doors early or the venue early so they can actually have, things coordinated properly. Because as you mentioned, we get a lot of giveaways and we don't want it to get chaotic, right? So it's actually just to stick up in quickly, there is somewhat like a chit system where you're going to get, when you come in, you register, they're going to give you a chit. So, well, of course, and then after that, after the encouraging word that was mentioned by Pastor, they'll have a process where you're going to pick the chit, and then they're going to have a process where you're going to receive your item.
Okay,
right?
So they'll be orderly. Yes.
Yeah, this is the Thursday, good. And then we have on the Friday, this is in Cuba, it's at the Inshan Ali Promenade. The Inshan Ali Promenade, right? That is on the Friday. Same thing, doors open at 4, but the event begins at 6 p.m., right? And then, of course, we have in the east, we have the Macoya grounds, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya. That, of course, on this Saturday, that's April 1st. And as my pastor has been saying for the past few days, no, we're not fooling anybody. This is actually happening. April 1st is April Fool's Day. No, it's actually happening. We're not fooling anyone. This is going to happen, right?
Yes.
Macoya, Savannah, same thing. Doors open at 4, but the event begins at 6. So it's 6 p.m. on all 3 days from March 30th to April 1st. Come and be part of this festival.
Yes, and before you leave, what is the message that you want to send to the public for people who are, viewing this interview, and they may not be the persons that I need, but they may know a family, whether it's family members or family within the community. What is the message that you want to send to them, and persons who may be a bit timid, may be a bit hesitant to come even though they need the help? What do you want to tell them?
Well, I want to tell them we're waiting for them with open arms. Bless the community. We're here to help restore, bring back hope and joy. So anyone that's struggling, and even they might come, encourage them to come, and they're going to have a great time. They're going to receive hope. They're going to receive a good message, and remind them that God loves them and that Jesus Christ has provided a way for them. So, just to come out and know that you're not alone. Know that there's people out there looking to help you out.
Good. Thank you, Pastor Merlin. Thank you, Sheldon, for joining us. This is such a wonderful initiative and opportunity for persons not just to receive help, but also to give. So we appreciate the work that you're doing. We will definitely check in to see how things went and, you know, what are the follow-ups that are going to happen. All the best to you and the team.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Yes, we take a short break. When we come back, we still have a lot more in store for you. Stay with us.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries while stocks last and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only. In South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Join me, Sule A. Joseph, as I delve into the day-to-day psychological issues plaguing our society. We will discuss behaviors that encompass the biological influences, social pressures, and environmental factors that affect how you think, act, and feel. Sight, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., only on WESN, Content Capital.
What's the best way to grab the attention of viewers?
Please exercise more patience. You have to be kidding me.
Doing what we do best. I'll say at the very least it's a conspiracy of laziness against the people.
Join me, Keaton Shaw.
And me, Sean Michael Small, for Talking Point.
Weekdays from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
We go in-depth on the trending issues and engage the most controversial newsmakers
as we get them to account to the people for their actions.
You can't go to the government with nothing. You can't go to cabinet with an empty hand, with a wish.
I'm glad that we're having this a sober, mature discussion.
In the present situation, I expect a continuation of the chaos.
Join us for the discussion, Mondays to Fridays,
only on WESN,
the Content Capital.
But if we died with Christ, we have faith that we will also live with him. We know that Christ has been raised from the dead, and he will never die again. Death no longer has power over him. He died to sin once and for all with his death, but he lives for God with his life. Join WESN as we explore the death and resurrection of Christ with He is Risen, a perspective from varying leaders within the Christian faith. He is Risen, starting March 27th, only on WESN, the Content Capital.
Mental health can explain the behavior of bullies, but also the impact of those who are bullied.
And you have those individuals who may have, some children have what you call conduct disorders. And a conduct disorder, some of them are like to light fires, kill pets, and all these things. Now, those children could go on into adulthood and be somebody with a personality disorder, as what we call a psychopath or antisocial personality disorder.
Do they pick on or target a specific personality, their victim, or is it across the board?
What's Up, Doc? Every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McLean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Our next interview is our Motivational Monday feature. We haven't had that in a while, but I'm so honored to have these two young persons in studio with us talking about their space, a youth space, a forum for youth created by youth for youth voices to be heard about issues surrounding their mental health and other issues that affect the youth. We have in studio with us Adina Sandy, who is a graphic designer and co-host of Youth Space No Holds Barred. And we also have Kareem Rice, who is the creator and co-host of Youth Space No Holds Barred as well. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you.
Yes, thanks a lot. Grateful to be here, grateful.
Nice, nice. I'm excited to have this conversation with you because I know that you both are doing some amazing things with your virtual space. So tell us, in terms of the name, No Holds Barred, what does that mean for you all?
Well, it means that we wouldn't be afraid to touch on anything. If there's an issue that the youths are having and they feel like voicing their concern, we facilitate them.
Right. And are there any issues that have come up so far? Because I know this is not the first season.
Yeah.
So has there been any issue that's come up so far that has been difficult for you as hosts to navigate?
Yeah, there are sometimes language barriers.
Okay.
Because we interview persons not only from Trinidad and Tobago, but it could be other Caribbean islands. For instance, this season we interviewed someone from Pakistan.
Okay.
And the way he speaks, it is difficult to understand, but we were able to understand and had a lovely interview, yeah.
Nice. So we're talking about local guests, regional guests, and also international guests.
Yeah.
So let's go back, Dinah, in terms of how this would have even come about. When was this birthed, this idea birthed?
Okay, I believe we started back in 2021.
Okay.
Youth Space No Holds Barred. We started like July or August.
So this is during the pandemic?
During the pandemic.
Okay, okay.
But it was like in creation for a while, and it wasn't actually supposed to be the way it is with just Karim and I.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have another person with us.
Okay.
But it took some time, and everything happens the way it has to be, and I'm glad that Karim actually came up with the idea, and he asked me to come on board, and I was like, yeah, for sure.
Right. Now, I know it individually, both of you have been doing some exceptional work within this space, really championing your own stories and sharing with youth. Yeah. So how was it to be able to share on this different platform, partner to have this, and what is the kind of feedback you've been receiving so far?
Lots of positive feedback. Yeah, and as you so mentioned, we have our own individual stories.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that having our own stories and understanding how important it is to feel heard, it makes it easier for us to listen to others.
Nice.
Yeah. So we have that experience in terms of. Yeah.
Okay. So this program runs, what days does it run every week?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays,
Yeah,
okay.
Wednesdays.
And what's the time for it, and where can persons view the episodes?
Well, the episodes can be viewed on Daniel Rice Music Studio, my Facebook page. The time is not fixed, but we tend to start at 5 p.m. to 6.
Okay.
On most occasions, if we have international guests who would be in a different time zone from ours, we would have to adjust the time to suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of topics have you been dealing with this season so far?
Well, for this season, we interviewed a lot of artists. We had someone named by Alyssa Joseph, and she is like an international award-winning artist. She's only 16 years old.
Wow.
And we also interviewed another creative by the name of Rizzo. She's a dancer, a singer, a creative. She paints. And we also have an artist coming up this Wednesday. His name is Gideon Gilbert. So there's a lot of music, entertainment, field persons that we are interviewing this season.
What sort of challenges, I guess, because I know you are a motivational speaker, so even in this season, you know, where we are navigating, youth are navigating out of the pandemic, finding themselves, you know, some are going into choosing careers, some are writing exams. You know, what are some of the challenges that came up within the pandemic? How were you able to pivot and now kind of use those skills now?
I guess one of the skills would be like being motivated to do things, because like during the pandemic a lot of youths would have been discouraged because you're not able to connect with persons, so you have to try to connect with people from social media. So I use social media as my tool to motivate youths and post up quotes or create I also had something called a Dangers virtual live stream where I would bring on different youths and have them speak about themselves or help motivate other children, as you say, who maybe have to write exam and all of that. So yeah, I would say one of the skills I gained was using social media to encourage others.
And Kareem, what about you?
Well, for me, it's very powerful to be able to bridge the gap in the digital space, because it's really a limitless space and you could be anywhere at any given time at any part of the world, and that's my vibe. I like that, the ability to do that. And in navigating COVID-19, I'm usually an introvert, because a lot of people know this, but I am one who suffers with a mental health disorder, schizophrenia to be exact. And also a recovering drug addict. So in terms of me being able to bridge that gap and connect with people and speak and share stories, it's really important and very powerful to be able to do that.
When were you able to experience, I guess, that freedom and that peace to share your story? And I guess, how was that feeling the first time you were able to share that story and now use it to help others?
Well, besides that, I'm also a creative. I recently released an album as well. I write, I'm a hip-hop artist, I'm a poet, I draw. Being able to experience that, that peace and that freedom is something that took some time, because it's a journey. And I've grown to understand that the freedom I have to be able to express myself and share who I am with the world is not something everyone is so fortunate to have, because there are pressures in life, but it's me against the world in my own way.
What, as we wrap, what advice would you want to give the youth, and, you know, just to promote the episode that you have coming up this week, where they can find you on social media? But in terms of those challenges that, you know, you were just referring to, Kareem, I guess, what advice would you want to give youth, even now as they are in the midst of their challenges? You know, that advice that can take them through day by day. Adina, you could give the advice.
All right, okay, sure. Well, I would say don't be discouraged. There would be so much challenges that would come your way and you may feel like giving up, but always just depend on God and have faith. Have faith and just never give up, no matter how discouraged you are. You may feel like giving up, but just keep pressing on and it will always work out.
Nice. And Kareem, just remind them, we're on social media. They can view all the past episodes and the one that's coming up this week.
Well, they definitely can view the past episodes on Daniel Rice Music Studios, my Facebook page. Additionally, it's important to note that your journey is your journey, and it came to you, and follow your dreams, and the way will open, so keep your head up during these times.
I want to thank you, Adina and Kareem, you know, for coming in and really sharing about the work that you're doing. Keep up the great work. I know that it may not be easy at times, you know, having to lead while going through your own challenges and your own process. But the same advice to you: keep on that journey, keep pushing towards, you know, the the end goal that you have in mind for yourself.
Definitely.
We take a short break. When we come back, we have one more interview before we wrap today's show. Stay with us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
But if we died with Christ, we have faith that we will also live with him. We know that Christ has been raised from the dead, and he will never die again. Death no longer has power over him. He died to sin once and for all with his death, but he lives for God with his life. Join WESN as we explore the death and resurrection of Christ with He is Risen, a perspective from bearing leaders within the Christian faith. He is Risen, starting March 27th, only on WESN, the content capital.
Trinidad, come and get blessed at the Good News Fest. Free groceries, white stocks last, and lots of giveaways like appliances and toys and much more with live music at each venue. 3 days only in South, March 30th at number 4 Recreation Ground, Palo Seco from 4 p.m. In Central, March 31st at Ancient Alley Promenade, Couva, 6 p.m. And in the East, April 1st, Macoya, Savannah, Macoya, 6 p.m. It's the Good News Fest, 3-day family event, March 30th to April 1st. Lots of giveaways after an encouraging word shared.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
With society plagued by a host of issues, with debates surrounding our urgent concerns falling short, with questions of our future not always being answered.
The conversation continues. Join me, Kemuel Pascal, as the voice of the youth comes to life. We will confront the controversial topics of today's world to gain answers that are key for a better tomorrow. One and One with me, Kemuel Pascal. Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Only on WESN, Content Capital.
Good morning. Thank you for staying with us. For our final interview this morning, we're going to be talking about coding, the future of education. And joining us from We Code Caribbean to talk all about this is Safia. Safia, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us, and good morning to all of your listeners and viewers.
Nice. Safia, I must say you look like a ball of sunshine this morning. It's very radiant. I love it.
I made the effort.
Very good, very good. So we're talking about coding. Now, for the less techie persons, such as myself, I'll be honest, break down to me what coding is and the importance of it, and then we'll go into what you are doing, your team is doing with youth and coding.
Okay, so I can prove to you that I could take you from being a presenter to a programmer just like that.
Okay.
All right. So this is a magic trick that we work at We Code Caribbean. All right. So get ready. Can you list the steps that you took to get ready this morning to get to work?
Okay. No pressure. As in literally got up, did makeup, outfits, walk to work. Yeah.
Good. So you're a programmer. Once you can list the steps that you would have taken to do a particular thing, a task, then that is coding in a nutshell.
Okay.
It's just a list of instructions that you give to your computer so that it knows what to do. A computer cannot operate on its own. It needs a programmer to list lines of code so that it gives instructions to the computer. For software application, you are using coding every single day. Every time you click on an app, and that app is running lines of code in the background so that it responds to the commands that you are giving it. That's it.
Okay, so let's backtrack a bit, right? So first of all, thank you for the boost in confidence. You know, I feel like maybe I could tackle this.
Definitely.
Why or what would have inspired you to bring children into the fray of this? Why do you think it's important that our youth get involved in learning this as early as you know, within their early years?
Yeah, so I am only the face of We Code Caribbean, but the real creator of We Code Caribbean was my 3-year-old son, because I saw what he was inclined to, and I also investigated the world that he would be living in, and it looked completely different from the world that I grew up in, or you would have experienced.
Yes.
And I realized that as things became more mechanical, as there became more need for us to look at how machinery is going to feature in our lives, it is very important for our children who are digital natives, because they grew up with technology, right? As soon as a baby is born, we put a phone in front of them and we take a picture so that we can send to relatives, right? So they are interacting with technology from the minute they exit the womb. Sometimes even before, right? So I needed to find out what would be the best way to educate my son so that he could navigate the 21st century with confidence. And then as I started to look into that, I started to realize very quickly that more children needed to be exposed to coding and aspects of technology, because that would be the world that they would be existing in.
I mean, this is amazing. Were you always involved in tech, or this was you pivoting because of, you know, needing to understand things for your son?
Yeah, so I have been in education. I've been an educator for the past 20-something years, right? Maybe over 23 years. And so I've always been meeting my market. I know exactly how they're evolving. I understand very intimately what their experiences are. And becoming a mother really amplified the need for me to now look into technology so that we understand what the needs of our children are and our students at whole, and how education needs to evolve to match those interests.
Right. Now, I know at the primary school level, you know, we have, you know, where we may go to the library if there's a library at the school, and we may do like basic stuff on the computer, if so much. So how are we going to marry what you're doing with We Code? Because this is amazing. You know, and kind of bring it into the school system, or even introduce children to it if it's still not a part of their syllabus right now.
Yeah, so we are disruptors. That is the nature of what we do. So we were the first to introduce coding in 25 rural primary schools throughout Trinidad and Tobago last year, with the help of our amazing partner, Digicel Foundation. They gave us the confidence to undertake this task that seemed so monumental at the time, you know, we first thought about, let's look at 5 schools and see how that works. And then it ballooned into 25 schools, maybe more, because we are now moving into new territory. We are moving into the other islands, yes, because we have been invited by the Cayman Islands. We are looking at the Bahamas, and we are also looking at taking our operations to Turks and Caicos. They recently sent us an invitation, so we are now moving into the region with this program, because a number of schools have labs.
Right.
But they don't have a curriculum. And that is where our specialty lies, in designing curricula so that schools can use it. And we will now be going into there to teach coding and robotics and various aspects of soft skills, because you would see in our program, it's not just pure coding. We say it's Caribbean Code Plus. And that plus stands for our soft skills program.
Okay.
And that's business protocol, that's dining etiquette, so that our students, and we also have a very strong mental wellness aspect to our program as well, so that our students are well-rounded, they have confidence to step into the marketplace, and they understand who they are as individuals moving into a new space, that digital landscape.
Now, this holistic approach to educating children and, you know, they're assisting them in their overall development is truly amazing. How have you seen, you know, children's involvement in learning coding and these other activities or initiatives that your school has, your program has? How has it been able to help them with the other subjects that they're doing? How has it improved, you know, their way of approaching these subjects and learning on a whole?
Yeah, so because our program was sanctioned by the Ministry of Education, our curriculum that we've developed for coding aligns perfectly with the existing national curriculum. So there are aspects of math and English and science, because you need all of those things in order to become an incredible programmer. So we want to make sure that what they are learning in our coding program also seeps into their regular classroom activities, so that they can become more confident in writing SEA or responding to standardized tests and formative tests that they will do during the term. So it also gives them that type of confidence to tackle their everyday school. There are programs we are instituting right now that will bring AI into the classroom to assist with students who are struggling with various math concepts and English concepts, so that we now boost performance as students write SEA. And that is our goal right now at We Code Caribbean.
Okay. Before we go into what advice you'll give to parents, because I mean, you know, this is not just programming and no pun intended, you know, but a new learning structure for children, but it's also relearning for parents, right? Based on what they have been accustomed to, you know, so navigating that may be a bit of a challenge. But before we go to that, let's talk about this being so timely, not even ahead of its time, but so timely because during the pandemic, we saw where, you know, we now had to rely on technology to be a part of classes, to do work, etc. So talk to us about how opportune this was, you know, and how your students would have been able to flourish because they would have already been, you know, dealing with stuff digitally.
Yes, so we saw the huge gap that exists for students who are in rural communities particularly, because they are the ones with very little access to, firstly, opportunities, devices, and then quality instruction when it comes to digital learning. So it was very important for us to understand the parameters we were working in and how unique those circumstances are. What rural youth experience would be completely different to what an urban youth experiences. And so our curriculum is uniquely designed to focus on the hindrances to performance that rural youth may experience. Not saying that this program is not open to everyone, because most of the program was also offered as a blended module, right? So we had students online and we also met with them face to face.
Okay.
And we had parents asking questions. So we understand that we are not just educating children, but we are educating communities, and we want to encourage that as much as possible. Children don't need convincing when it comes to the digital literacy.
Correct, yes.
You know, that convincing is more where I think you were going.
With the
it's
parents.
more with parents,
Guardians,
because this is more of an alien force to them.
Yes.
You know, children interact with this very, very easily. You tell a child, you give them a technical term, they already understand it. You know, what's a loop? What's this? What's that? They know what it is, right? But parents are the ones who we need to sensitize more about why this is important and why students need to take advantage of these opportunities. We do not charge for our courses because we have had that support coming in from Digicel Foundation. And we are hoping that we have more entities like that coming to support our work, so we can afford to keep these courses free for our students to participate.
Yes, just quickly as we wrap, where can persons find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can look for We Code Caribbean on Facebook and Instagram. You can even find us on LinkedIn, and we will get back to you with any questions that you may have. We'll be very happy to respond to them.
Thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us. We're definitely going to keep in touch with you to see how this unfolds and the amazing work that the team is doing. We are wrapping it up here today for today's show. We had so much fun, so many things we learned today. Remember, if you want a booking with us, you can email us at amprimewesn@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp us at 868-620-1331. Do have a great day. Bye-bye.